Everyone, welcome to the show. So, Democratic voters are pissed off, as you guys know. They're pissed off at the party. I'm included in that group. Yet, some Democratic lawmakers are still voting for things that Donald Trump wants, and they are tacitly showing approval for his unconscionable acts. So, here's the deal. Here's why these lawmakers absolutely have to go. We have to get rid of these people. Democratic voters have made it very clear. They want the party to fight Donald Trump. They want the Democrats to fight his agenda in every way and any way possible. You know, they're like, just do it. We don't care what you do, just do something. Well, the Washington Post, to prove this point, they published an article at the end of March, and they wrote in this article, quote, in dozens of interviews at recent Democratic events, voters said their party leaders need to show a much greater sense of urgency and develop a plan to stop Trump and Musk. They said voters are frequently describing the party as weak. They use words like lame, and they shared some of the conversations that they had with voters. There was a 74-year-old Air Force veteran. They spoke with, this guy's name is Mike Arnold, and he said that with Trump's authoritarian agenda and his bullying of law firms and also universities, this guy said, I'm not even sure the US is going to survive until the midterms. And then Arnold told the Washington Post, quote, the courts might not hold, and if the courts don't hold, the only next thing is the military itself. In regard to the Democratic Party, Arnold said that they, quote, have to be much more aggressive than they have been. We are playing by the old rules, and they don't abide by those, meaning the Republican Party. It's nice to be polite, and God knows we don't want to fracture the country any more than it already is. But what is happening cannot stand. He was just one of the angry Democratic voters that they spoke with. And Politico, I'm sure you guys have all seen this by now, they also had warned that after reviewing all of the polling data, quote, Democrats in Congress should be very afraid. And I can tell you guys from firsthand experience, this anger towards both parties is very real. And this is not just about how the Democrats are reacting to Trump and Musk, because I went to the Bernie Sanders and AOC rally in Los Angeles last weekend. The crowd exploded. They were cheering and clapping when Bernie mentioned that there are Democrats who are also guilty of using insider knowledge to trade stocks. That line received one of the most animated responses from the crowd. And there were like 50,000 people. This is in, the blue bastion of Southern California. So, yeah, people are done with it. They're done with both parties acting inappropriately. And people want the Democrats to do something. And I think voters are smart enough to realize, you're not going to win over win back working class Americans when you're not showing voters how you're any different than the other party. And, even in this moment, Democrats, they're helping Republicans to take away our rights. So Tech Dirt news outlet reported in March, quote, Democratic senators team up with MAGA to hand Trump a censorship machine. So they went on to explain that Democratic Senator Dick Durbin teamed up with Republican Lindsey Graham, and they drafted a bill that would set an expiration date of January 2027 for Section 230. And Democratic Senators Amy Klobuchar and Sheldon Whitehouse have co-sponsored this bill. And for anyone who isn't familiar with Section 230, in a nutshell, it provides protection for a website owner so they can't be held liable, so that they can't be sued for what other people post on their site. So, for example, Google can't be sued because of what a YouTube content creator or, a blog owner, it can't be sued. I should finish that sentence, for what a content creator says. Someone like me, if I say something that is wildly inappropriate or false, they can't be held accountable. Also, like I was saying, a blog owner can't be sued if some random stranger posts something in the comments section. And why should they be held accountable, right? So eliminating Section 230 would be like giving Trump and his administration complete and total authority to shut down any free speech, any content that they disagree with. They could say, oh, Gina over at Raw News and Politics, though, she's spreading disinformation about our government. And so, YouTube, we want you to remove that channel. And if you do not do that, we're going to sic the Justice Department on you. We're going to go file a lawsuit against Google and sue you. What is YouTube going to do? They're not going to fight it over, someone like me or even someone with, a couple million subscribers. They're going to go, I don't need this heat. I don't need this problem. And this extends beyond political free speech, because Tech Dirt pointed out, quote, today's Health and Human Services Secretary is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a man who believes the solution to measles is to have more children die of measles. He would literally have the power to declare pro-vaccine information as misinformation and force it off the internet. These Democratic lawmakers, though, are spearheading this effort. They do not understand what they're doing. So please reach out to their offices, tell them they need to stop this. This is insanity. And we need to primary these next 4 Democratic House members. Jared Golden of Maine, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez of Washington State, Henry Killar of Texas, and Ed Case of Hawaii. These 4 traitors just voted with the Republicans to help take away voting rights from potentially millions of Americans. So some of you may have heard about this, but last week, Republicans passed what's known as the SAVE Act. This is one of those things that, Republicans came up with to bolster Trump's fake claim that he had the election stolen from him in 2020. So the SAVE Act requires people to prove their citizenship in order to register to vote. Sounds very harmless, but the problem is this bill is so extreme that even married women might have trouble getting registered to vote, because if you're a woman, like most women do, you take your husband's last name, or say you hyphenate your last name, you're not going to have any 2 pieces potentially of ID that match. Your birth certificate is going to have a different name than what your driver's license says, or another form of ID. So, if they're requiring people to show multiple forms of ID, this is going to be an issue. And then it's also having an impact, or could have an impact, on naturalized citizens, Native Americans, many low-income citizens. They could be disproportionately and negatively affected by this law. So these 4 House Democrats absolutely need to be added to the list to primary when they're up for re-election. And that list is getting a lot longer. It is getting longer by the day, because by default, a large number of Democrats in both the House and the Senate just signaled that basically they're totally cool with Trump's Gestapo snatching innocent people off the street and trying to deport them. We know this because a letter was just submitted. It was sent to various Trump officials, and the Democrats who signed on to this are asking for more details about the arrest of a doctoral student. She was going to Tufts University. Her name is Rumeysa Öztürk, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm sure you guys have all seen the disturbing video by now, but if not, here it is.
We'll show you everything. Okay, sure. Yep. You're fine.
Yeah, we're gonna take a
So for those on the podcast, I will kind of narrate what happened. So Öztürk she's walking down the street. This hooded man wearing a face mask, he steps up in front of her, blocks her path. He says something to her, and then she is quickly surrounded by a bunch of other men. They're all in plain clothes. None of them show her any kind of ID. They're not wearing anything that would indicate that they're with law enforcement. So, I mean, for all this poor girl knew or woman knew, she was being kidnapped, right? And then they start restraining her. And you can see there's just this panic on her face, the distress in her voice. And news outlets say some of these Gestapo cowards are wearing face masks because they don't want to be identified and doxxed. I mean, if you're going to do this, you sign up for this, this is what you want to do, then show your face, right? So anyway, the Trump administration claimed, oh, well, Öztürk, she engaged in activities in support of Hamas. That's their statement about her. Well, as with everything else that comes out of the Trump administration, that is complete and total bullshit. They have not provided a single shred of evidence to prove that she has done anything that should warrant her removal from the country. The only thing that anyone has ever found on her that they have even presented is that Öztürk co-authored an opinion piece which criticized her school's support for Israel. And it is now coming out that they were told, that the Trump administration was told, this isn't enough. Like the State Department looked into her and told them before they snatched her off the street, there is nothing. Like, we can't find anything that she has said or done. She hasn't even gone to a protest. And yet they're trying to strip her of her visa, of her student visa, and deport her. And only 34 Democrats signed on to the letter. Only 34 in the entire House and the Senate combined. All the rest of them, I guess, are just like, yeah, I guess we're totally cool with you just grabbing people, terrorizing them, throwing them into unmarked vehicles, and disappearing them. So this is the problem with allowing, first of all, money in politics in general. But then you have groups like AIPAC, the Jewish lobbying group, the Israeli lobbying group, I should say, literally legally bribing our lawmakers with huge campaign contributions and ads on their behalf. We have a foreign government that is controlling U.S. lawmakers, and these Democrats are wildly out of step with the base. The base is increasingly viewing Israel in a negative light. They're turning against Israel because of what Netanyahu is doing. So this is part of the reason why the Democratic Party has less than a 30% approval rating. They are not listening to their base. They haven't for a long time. So we have to show them with our votes, with our support for alternate candidates, that they better start doing the right thing or they're going to get primaried. They're going to get kicked out. We need to do to them what MAGA did to the Republican Party, but for a good cause, not just because we don't like people who don't look and act like us, but actually because we want something good to happen in this country, because we actually do care about people. Anyway, so yeah, all of these people need to go. All of it. There's rot in our own party and we need to get it out. All right, guys, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.